The move by embattled Nairobi Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko to surrender 4 key functions of the county to the national government continues to draw mixed reactions. But even as some believe that this is the best solution for the challenges that face Nairobi County, others question the legality of this agreement, especially touching on the implementation of Article 187 of the Constitution. Article 187 of the Constitution stipulates that a function or power of government at one level may be transferred to a government at another level by agreement between the governments if the function or power would be more effectively performed or exercised by the receiving government, and if the transfer of function or power is not prohibited by legislation under which it is to be performed or exercised. As clear as this provision was drafted, legal experts argue that such transfer of functions was unforeseen.
We don't have an enabling legislative framework for Article 187, the transfer of powers, because I think those are some of the constitutional provisions that the drafters of the law did not anticipate that they will be implemented as soon as that. Which kind of government doesn't want to perform its functions? This is the first of its kind.
The minister in charge of devolution, and I guess it's my friend Eugene Wamalwa, ought to have done, I'm not aware if he has done so, is that he ought to have drafted regulations to govern that kind of transfer of functions from a county government to the national government.
Indeed, lawyers Ashford Muriuki and Dennis Anyoka are in agreement that the move was the best stopgap measure to resolve the leadership crisis that has characterized the situation in the capital.
So in the case of Nairobi County, I think the circumstances were such that the national government felt, or the county government itself, and I think even generally the public has been under the impression that the county government has been dysfunctional.
I think the governor has found himself in a situation that he's having difficulty. There are things he's not able to do. So being in that state, and I think being where we are, the governor didn't have much option. That was the only other legal, choice that he had, by transferring some of the functions, which will appear to suffer immediately, of course immensely, if the court case continues for a long time.
That being the case, the move might, however, plunge the country into a constitutional crisis. The two legal practitioners note that questions will be raised on the capacity of Governor Sonko to act on behalf of the county at a time he has been barred from office for graft-related charges.
Now that the court barred our friend from accessing the office, a question is bound to arise whether indeed he accessed the office to get hold of the seal. If the agreement has been duly sealed, that's one question. If it did not, then is it that then the agreement may not be valid if it has not been properly sealed?
There has been argument, I believe as a person, that Sonko lacks the capacity to perform that kind of function at this point, given the court order. Particularly when you realize that there are several things that have not been done. We think there are grey issues that have not been addressed, particularly the involvement of the other stakeholders to remove functions of the whole county and change it to another level.
If successful implementation of Tuesday's landmark agreement is to be realized, they have challenged parties to the agreement to address all the grey areas. What is not in question at the moment, however, is that this move does not amount to dissolution of Nairobi County, neither does it water down the function of the Nairobi County Assembly.
The county has not been dissolved. What they have done is transfer of the more critical functions. I do not know whether the comprehensive agreement they do is going to take care of certain other functions that may not have been transferred.
The constitutional mandate will remain with the county government. The county assembly of Nairobi will remain because that has not been changed. But now there will be a challenge in terms of how far can they go.
For Channel One News, I'm Safin Aching Oma.